We will now call the regular meeting of the Lompoc City Council for Tuesday, September 19th, 2023 to order. Madam Clerk, would you please call roll?
Councilmember Vega.
Here.
Councilmember Cordova.
Here.
And Councilmember Ball.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Dirk Starbuck.
Present.
Mayor Janelle Osborne.
Here. I'd like to invite Pastor Keith McCullen forward for our invocation, followed by our pledge.
Let us pray. Heavenly Father, the one who sees all, I invite and welcome your presence into tonight's City Council meeting. I do so with humility, acknowledging that you are the Creator and we are your created. I invite your presence, acknowledging that you see both the needs and accomplishments throughout our city. While there is still much that can and needs to be done, I am grateful for this season of progress and that we have much for which to be thankful. Tonight, I thank you for each member of our City Council and for their service. Know that I am grateful for our City Manager, Dean Albro, and the administrative staff he leads, and for each one of our City employees. I give thanks that much good has been accomplished this year that has benefited so many in our community, and that even this week we see the progress being made in so many parts of our community, such as the renovation of our City tennis and pickleball courts that bring our community together for recreation and fellowship. God, Most High, I pray that our community see you as you desire to see them, full of hope, full of promise, full of purpose, and an encouragement to others, for in doing what is good and just honors you. Heavenly Father, you know that we gathered a week ago Monday, September 11th. Members of our community, our mayor, police, and fire personnel gathered for a flag lowering ceremony in front of Fire Station 1. To remember those who lost their lives on that fateful day 22 years ago, and we vowed to never forget. It was a fitting time of somber reflection on the lives lost, but also a time to honor and celebrate the heroes whose courage, competence, and compassion prepared them to answer the call to duty, even when doing resulted in them making the ultimate sacrifice in service to others. May we now, in this day, as a community, never forget or take for granted our first responders who faithfully and diligently serve our city. I pray for your protection over them in the face of known and unknown dangers. And just as those who from all walks of life on that fateful day on September 11th, 2001, and in the weeks, months, and years that followed reached out to help carry the scars and burdens of others, may we as a community carry the torch of readiness and capacity to collectively serve our neighbors and our city in times of need, both great and small. And finally, Almighty God, renew us with the strength of your presence and courage to face challenges so that we may experience the joy of helping to build a community consistent with your purposes and worthy of your pleasure. We ask this as your sons and daughters, confident in your goodness and love. And the people said, Amen.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And having just said the pledge, I would like to invite those here for the Constitution Week proclamation to join me at the podium. Thank you all for being here. This is a proclamation for Constitution Week. Whereas the Constitution of the United States of America, the guardian of our liberties, embodies the principles of limited government in a republic dedicated to rule by law, and whereas September 17th, 2023 marks the 236th anniversary of the framing of the Constitution of the United States of America by the Constitutional Convention, and whereas it is fitting and proper to accord official recognition to this magnificent document and its memorable anniversary, and to the patriotic celebrations which will commemorate it, and whereas Public Law 915 guarantees the issuing of a proclamation each year by the President of the United States of America designating September 17th through the 23rd as Constitution Week, And whereas it is the privilege and duty of the American people to commemorate the 236th anniversary of drafting of the Constitution of the United States of America with appropriate ceremonial and activities. Now, therefore, I, Janelle Osborne, Mayor of the City of Lompoc, California, do hereby proclaim the week of September 17th through the 23rd, 2023, as Constitution Week in the City of Lompoc, and urge our citizens to study the Constitution and reflect on the privilege of being an American with all the rights and responsibilities which that privilege involves. Thank you very much. Your microphone is yours.
I'm Nancy Thompson, and you can see members of the organization I belong to, Daughters of the American Revolution, and we're here to commemorate the Constitution. And this is a pocketbook edition that I will have for you after the meeting back in the back. And we have, as an organization, made 2 displays in Lompoc representing Constitution Week and our Constitution. One is at the City Library and one is at the Village Library. And I guess that's about all I have to say, other than everybody will get a copy of the Constitution after today. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And now I'd like to invite our Director of Library Services forward, Ms. Sarah Blyle, for a proclamation regarding Library Card Sign-Up Month 2023. Whereas libraries play a crucial role in the education and development of children, from story times for preschoolers to college and career planning for high schoolers, fostering literacy and a love of reading. And whereas libraries are welcoming and inclusive spaces for people of all backgrounds to learn together and engage with one another across cultural, ethnic, generational, and economic lines, strengthening the social fabric of the communities they serve. And whereas libraries strive to develop and maintain programs and collections that are as diverse as the population they serve and ensure equity of access for all. And whereas libraries help people of all ages navigate the complexities of life, providing access to research, information, and government services that allow everyone to lead more productive and fulfilling lives. And whereas libraries contribute to strong local economy by providing access to the technology and training that are critical to the success of job seekers, entrepreneurs, and students. And whereas in times of crisis, libraries and library professionals play an invaluable role in supporting their communities both in person and virtually. And whereas the shared resources libraries offer reduce the number of items households buy and dispose of, providing a simple way to save money, conserve resources, and reduce waste. And whereas a library card sparks creativity and empowers all people to explore new passions and interests and pursue a path of lifelong learning. And whereas libraries are cornerstones of democracy, promoting the free exchange of information and ideas for all. Now, therefore, I, Janelle Osborne, Mayor of the City of Lompoc, California, do hereby proclaim September Library Card Sign-Up Month in Lompoc and encourage everyone to sign up for their own library card today. Should have asked for you to bring the paperwork. Thank you again for all that you and the library provide our community. As just mentioned, we have a display there reminding us the value of our Constitution, and we provide a free resource for everyone to learn and educate and explore. So thank you for your work. Thank you.
Thank you all, and it is a lovely display, so you should come and see it. They did a great job. Thank you so much, everybody, for your support with the library. We have a really cool map up right now. When you come in, we have a map of the United States and a map of the world, and people are sticking their pins in where they got their first library card, which is really cool to see that there are people that got their first library card in England. There's someone from South Africa. And then we have, I don't know, probably like 20, 25 states so far that people have stuck their pin in. So it's just kind of fun to see where everybody first came to the library. And we have lots of great things coming up, so just follow us on social media, or we do have a newsletter. You can sign up on the website. And thank you very much.
Thank you. Mr. Albro, City Manager's report, please.
Yeah, I'd want to let everybody know that Parks and Rec will be dunking for pumpkins. It starts October 22nd. We also will have the landfill close on October 1st. That's a Sunday for necessary scale repairs and upgrades. The good thing is we will be able to take credit cards, and we'll be posting that on our webpage and pushing that out for social media. I also want to take a moment and thank Gilda Cordova and Explore Lompoc for helping us coordinate a welcome reception for our base commander, Colonel Shoemaker. You guys did an outstanding job. That was really good to see. Thank you. That's all I have for tonight.
Thank you. Any questions for the city manager? All right, seeing none, we'll move on to consent calendar. If you would like to speak to any item on consent calendar, you may come to the podium. You have 3 minutes, or you may call in. The number to call is 805-875-8201. While we wait to see, oh, there's our first taker.
Madam Mayor, I first want to start off by thanking you for acknowledging Constitution Week and inviting the Daughters of the American Revolution to come and receive the proclamation. Constitution is very vital to our democracy, and there are certain rights given to us as citizens under the Constitution. 2 of them: freedom to assembly and freedom of speech. Now, that plays into number 5 on the agenda, and that speaks into the vacancy of a commission or committee. Public Safety Committee or Commission is not meeting. Why? Because there's 2 appointments that still need to be made. I guess one's in the pipeline and one's up in the air. And that gets in the way of the people expressing their rights about safety in their neighborhood. That gets in the way of people expressing their needs for public safety in our community. And I know this city council does not want to get in the way of people expressing their rights, expressing their freedom that are granted to them under the Constitution, which I'm sure that all of you have taken oath to uphold. So I'm just asking that whatever vacancies, whatever decisions need to be made for that seat, that they be made in a timely manner, because the citizens of Lompoc deserve an outlet to express the needs in their neighborhoods. And right now, they do not feel that they have that right because they don't feel like anybody's listening to them. So thank you very much.
Thank you. I'll remind the speakers, this is for consent calendar for items 1 through 4 at the moment. Do we have a caller for consent calendar? Okay.
Okay, go ahead.
Hi, I just wanted to let you know I use the ADA service and they deserve 100% customer service and outstanding. Vote for picking up the people on time, taking them to where they need to go, helping them with the bags. You don't have to say anything, they just do it. And I kind of got lost on the wrong bus, and they helped me get on the ADA bus. So I'd like you to know that their service is excellent. Thank you very much for providing it.
Thank you. All right, seeing no one else rise and no additional callers, we will bring it back to consent. All items listed under consent calendar are considered to be routine and will be enacted after one motion in the form listed below. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless good cause is shown prior to the council vote. Any items withdrawn from the consent calendar for separate discussion will be addressed immediately before the second oral communication near the end of the meeting. Is there any item to pull or questions before I entertain a motion? Councilmember Vega.
I'll make a motion to accept consent calendar.
Thank you.
Second.
And we have a second from Councilmember Cordova. Let's vote. And that passes 5-0. Now's your opportunity for general oral communications regarding city matters. So if you have something that is not on the agenda that you'd like to speak to, you're more than welcome to come to the microphone. The number to call is 805-875-8201. You will have a maximum of 3 minutes. Microphone is now open.
Hi, Steve Bridge. First, I want to apologize for showing up in work clothes. Harvest has started, and I was pressing grapes 5 minutes ago. So, second, I'd like to ask the council to take attention or action on the request from the Lompoc Flower Festival Association. It's a volunteer group. They've been working with public safety, fire, police, and they've requested, they were told by Parks to request a time to give a 5 to 10 minute presentation to the city council, to the city clerk. They did that. After about a month, we were directed to ask the council. Personal request has gone to each of you. So the request is either to tell the Flower Festival Association you're not interested in a presentation for them, or please schedule them a time. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Seeing no one else rise, we will close oral communications and bring it back to the agenda. There are no staff presentations, announcement, or requests on the agenda. The next items 5 through 7 are for appointments. We will start with council appointments to city boards, committees, and commissions. The first one is for Airport Commission. We have multiple positions open for that. There are 3 at-large appointments with terms ending in January of 2024, 1 at-large ending in 2025, January, 1 in January of 2026, and 1 in January of 2027. We have 2 applicants, Mackenzie Clark and Margaretta Vaughn. So we could, given these are at-large positions, if someone wanted to make the motion for both applicants, just stating the terms they would be fulfilling, that would be good. Anybody want to? Councilmember Cordova.
I'll make the motion and nominate both.
All right, do we want to appoint?
I'll second.
Which term do we want to appoint them? Do we want to give them the longest terms that are out there till 2026 and 2027, or do we want to put them on for the two of the three at large? Councilmember Ball.
Oh, that's all right. I was just going to say, yeah, I mean, we'll keep them as long as we can keep them.
I'm going to agree with him.
Okay, so I will amend your motion to say that we will nominate Mackenzie Clark for the January 2026 and Margaretta Vaughn for the January 2027. And that way they are assigned now the longest periods, and we just need to backfill the others. So if anyone is interested in the Airport Commission, they are at-large positions. You are more than welcome to submit an application. Are you okay with that amendment?
Yes.
And my second, okay with it? All right, let's vote. And that passes 5-0. All right. Okay, the next one that we have is Planning Commission. We have one term ending December 2024 for District 4, which is Councilmember Ball, and we have one term ending December 2026 from District 2 is Councilmember Vega. We have 2 applicants. Mr. Bridge is from District 1 and Mr. Braxton for District 4. I will entertain motions. Councilmember Ball.
I'd like to nominate Chris Braxton,
All right, no.
District 4, Planning Commission.
All right.
Second.
And that's been seconded by Councilmember Cordova. Let's vote. And that passes 5-0. All right. Councilmember Vega.
I'd like to nominate Steve Bridge for Planning Commission to fill in for District 2.
All right.
I'll second.
And that has a second from Councilmember Starbuck. All right, let's vote. And that passes 3-2. All right. I would like to, we have an outstanding application from Eric Pranetta he actually resides in District 3, but I have an opening on public safety. So I would like to nominate Eric Pranetta to serve as my appointee to the Public Safety Committee.
I'll second.
And we have a second. Let's vote. And that passes 5-0. Thank you so very much. We have several outstanding positions on multiple committees. Please take a look at the list. It's both attached in tonight's agenda, but is also on the boards and committees page on the city website. If you're interested, please file an application, and then we are happy to consider it and look forward to your service. The next one we need to circle back to is item number 6, council appointment of council members to serve on the Lompoc Valley Chamber of Commerce and Visitors Bureau Economic Development Ad Hoc Committee. Last meeting, I believe Councilmember Ball volunteered, and is that still?
I didn't tell my wife, but I'm still interested.
All right, so that is one of the 2 positions that is open. Councilmember Vega.
Do we know what days the meetings are or any kind of things that we might do like that?
No, that will be organized by the chamber as a whole once all of the members are appointed and they survey the availability of those members, because council's only a 2 members to a 9-member committee. So it will probably be dominated by availability of everyone. Councilmember Cordova.
Are we able to nominate someone to serve?
Absolutely.
I honestly would like to nominate you, Mayor Osborne, just because I feel like with everything with the chamber right now and the new agreement that was signed recently, I really would like to see them get direction and be able to get that support. In prior years, I know that we schedule someone to serve, but people don't show up. And so I'd like to see some real support go to the chamber.
Okie dokie. I'm happy to do that. Economic development is one of my passions, and having been on the first committee, I would like to see some of that brought back. So I'm willing to serve. Councilmember Ball.
Is that just one person? On
no,
that?
it's two council members are to be appointed. So that would be you and I if you're still good with serving with me.
As long as you'll
I
listen.
didn't scare you off.
Yeah, no. Yeah, that's a good idea, actually.
All right, so I'll second my own nomination, I guess, or accept it, Councilmember Ball.
I'll second it.
That would make it easier. All right. So we have nominees. Any other questions before we vote? All right. And that passes 5-0. All right, the final is a change. As a result of losing our utility director and earlier this evening approving our interim and Mr. Wilkie, we need to make an adjustment to city council appointments to outside committees and external agencies. One of those is the JPA, which we're a member of for Northern California Power Agency. So we need to remove Charles Berry from that alternate list and replace it with Mr. Wilkie. And then secondly, Tank has restructured, so we actually do not need those alternates anymore. NCPA's leadership acts as our alternate if I can't attend the meeting. So we actually could do away with the alternates for Tank. So I will make the motion to remove Mr. Berry and appoint Mr. Wilkie while he's interim to serve as alternate on CPA and to do away with the tank alternate.
Second.
All right, any other questions, concerns?
I believe we're going to try and add Christie,
Okay, to which one?
alternate, NCPA, but alternate?
And
Yeah.
which one? Donnelly,
Oh,
thank you.
I'm sorry.
Just trying to make sure we appoint the right person, you know? She's not, the other one's not here to defend herself, so you could
Thinking
be
which
trying
one?
to.
Tank or NCPA? Yeah.
Is it still Mr. Wilkie and Christy Donnelly, both?
Yes.
Okay, so the amendment is that we will add, are we leaving you on there, Mr. Albro?
Tank? No, you don't need me for tank.
No, for NCPA, you're currently listed as the alternate. Do you want your name removed?
It doesn't matter.
Okay, no problem. So we're leaving you, we're adding Brad, we're adding Christy, and we're eliminating the tank alternates. Okay, does that make sense?
Yes.
All right, so you still second that? All right. Any other questions or clarity? Seeing none, let's vote. And that passes 5-0. Thank you for that. All right, we will now move on to item number 8. Adoption and resolution number 660523, reaffirming the Lompoc mural project and approving mural installation sites.
Mayor, before we get started on this item, Councilmember Starbuck is going to recuse himself from this item because he owns property that is within 500 feet of a number of these mural sites and even owns one of the buildings that is on the list of the mural sites. So he's going to step out of the room for this item and
All
maybe
right.
for the rest of the meeting.
I will be recusing. If somebody on the council brings up the council request to accept a presentation from the Flower Festival Association, I will vote positive for that presentation.
Do I hear you're stepping away for the rest of the evening?
Yes.
All right, okay.
So we could take your council request out of order right now if you wanted to make that
If you
council
wanted
request.
to make that, you could make that and we could support it.
I'd absolutely love to make that request. We accept a presentation from the Flower Festival Association.
All right,
I'll second that.
we have a second, and I'll give it a third. Okay.
Mayor and council members, we have this item tonight because the council requested an agenda item to discuss the relationship that the city currently has with the Lompoc Mural Society. And this is with regard to the murals that we have throughout town. A lot of them are in Old Town that attract tourism to the city and enhance our community. The arts and culture of our community that we all know about. Staff did meet with the Mural Society on May 12th and August 3rd of this year to discuss the relationship and how we'd like to move forward. And that was in preparation for this council item to summarize that tonight. The history of the mural project as a city project is in your staff report. It starts in 1988 when some public workshops were held, and the city council voted in September of 1988 to create the Lompoc Mural Project. Essentially what it was is that the city would raise funds, do fundraising, and raise funds through various means to fund the installation of murals throughout the city on sites that were approved by the city council as mural sites. And the city council authorized city manager to enter into agreements with property owners to have a mural placed on their site, and then agreements with artists to create the artwork, the mural, that would go onto that site. And the city raised funds in various ways, including there was a roundup program that was started on city utility bills where you could round your utility bill up to the next dollar, and that fraction of a dollar that was rounded up would be deposited into the city's mural fundraising fund, and that would go towards funding these murals. At the time, a city committee was created called Lompoc Mural Committee, which was designed to choose where murals would go and recommend those sites to the city council. And also, the mural committee would select artists and also select designs or comment on proposed designs from artists to be turned into murals that were placed in the city. The agreements that were the site agreement and the artist agreement that the city entered into required the city to pay the artist for the murals, required the city to take on the responsibility of paying for maintenance of the murals and doing the maintenance of the murals, required the city to take on the liability if there were damages or injuries caused by the murals that were put up in the city. Over the years, over time, 35 sites were approved by the city council as mural sites in the city. And through our research, we have determined that there are actually 18 sites that have murals on them today that are mural project sites that we could not find any evidence that they had ever been approved as sites by the city council. So that is on the handout that you have, is a map of the 18 sites that staff could not find any evidence that the council had ever approved. So one of the action items tonight is for the city council to consider approving these sites essentially retroactively as approved mural sites. Over the years, and we could not find documentation of exactly how, but the mural committee that was formed ended, and a group of volunteers that call themselves the Mural Society was formed, and they today do most of this work that officially and contractually is the city would do, but the Mural Society has taken over performing a lot of these functions, such as fundraising to fund murals and pay artists to prepare new murals, looking for new sites, storing the murals after they're taken down for whatever reason to be used later. The Mural Society, through their volunteers, also does maintenance on murals and sometimes does the installation of the murals. Again, all of that through the site agreements and the artist agreements is technically the city's responsibility to pay for, but we have this volunteer group that raises funds and does the fundraising so that the city doesn't have to do the fundraising to support the mural project. The Mural Society came to us and in one of our meetings this year and wanted to come to council, or wanted staff to come to council to reaffirm that the city of Lompoc supports the mural project and that it will continue on as a city project, that the city will continue in the site agreements and the artist agreements to take on the responsibility for maintenance of the murals. If the Mural Society were to ever not have the funds to continue maintaining the murals, or could not or did not maintain the murals. And so that's the second action item that we have for the council tonight, is to affirm through adoption of the resolution that's before you that the mural project will remain as a city project and that the city will essentially be the backstop supporting the maintenance of the murals in the city if the Mural Society were to ever not do so or could not do so. And I think that pretty much covers it, so if you have any questions, I can answer them.
Any questions for Councilmember Ball?
Thank you for that. Just something generally I wanted to point out, it's pretty obvious that we've had a long relationship with the folks that handle the murals here. I haven't talked to one person in Lompoc that doesn't like the murals, or doesn't appreciate them, or doesn't have some sense of pride about the content or the way that makes them feel. And I can definitely say that those murals alone are an economic driver. I don't know how many people will stop and tour and walk around and maybe grab a coffee or a beer and food, maybe spend the night even. So to me, personally, it's a lot of these murals are in my district, but keeping them maintained and looking nice that's a direct reflection of pride within our community. So if the city, and I think we're in a good position to be that backstop, to potentially say, look, we have so much respect for the work and efforts, and we're very fortunate to have a lot of volunteer effort go into that. That saves the city a lot of effort. But if we can play backstop on that and support a good thing, and maybe even fundraise for them and help them down the road, I think that's a good thing. That's my opinion. Thank you.
There's one thing that I forgot to mention that I think is important. The city does continue to fundraise, and we actually do have an account for the murals. Including on city utility bills, I'm told. There is an option. It's not the roundup option anymore, but there's an option to donate to the mural project on the city utility bills, and that money goes directly into a fund that the Mural Society can call on and withdraw from, essentially, to pay for mural projects in town. So that does still occur.
Thank you for mentioning that. That was going to be a point I made, but thank you for making it. Councilmember Cordova.
City Attorney, the report in the section of fiscal impact doesn't say that there's any specific costs. But from what I'm understanding, in the event that the Mural Society can't have the money to be able to maintain, the city would then take on the responsibility. I know that it's been difficult in the past few years, and they're you know, an organization of volunteers, and they're having a hard time even holding volunteers, and they're constantly asking for volunteers. So please, if this is something that would be of interest to you, they're constantly looking for volunteers. But would there be any interest to putting at least a specific amount? I don't know, maybe $25,000 annually in our budget, so that at least we have something in there that says, hey, we're sponsoring $25,000 a year. That at least takes care of one mural, or maybe one and a portion of one, you know, because I know that to restore the murals, it is upwards of $20,000. So at least that would give us the option to say annually we will set aside $25,000, and of course we still understand that in the event that something should happen, we are stakeholders in the arts program with them. But they do work really hard to get their funding and to get these murals restored. But at least I think it could be something, would that be possible?
Yeah, you can absolutely do that. You can dedicate money in the budget to specifically for the Mural Society Fund that the city has, that the Mural Society can then draw on anytime they want to. And the city can use it for mural maintenance as well. And in fact, in the past, in this timeline, it shows a couple instances where the council had dedicated funds from the general fund to the Mural Society back in the 80s and the early 90s. So yes, you can do that.
Okay, and then the second question that I had, from when we used to do the roundup on the bill, which was a direct question, to now just having it available on the utility bill where people might not necessarily notice it or be as prone to. I don't know if Christy has this answer. Do we get a substantial amount at least, or is it pretty minuscule or non-existent?
So the amount from last year was about $1,000 So it isn't a large donation.
Yeah. So I don't know, would we be able to also maybe put it back to where we give the ratepayer, the customer, the resident, the option to go back to, you round up and every penny counts, and at least that way I feel like more people would be considered to be participating than not,
Go ahead.
Sorry. Unfortunately, the new system in Munis within our utility billing does not allow for roundup as an option. And that was why we ended up having to transition from doing the roundup option to a straight donation.
Okay. Thank you.
We also, in our discussions with the Mural Society, we had the idea of putting a QR code symbol, I guess you'd call it, on the murals or right below the murals, actually out in the city, so that people can use their cell phone to take a photo of that and then can donate through whatever system that uses to donate to the Mural Society.
I saw that and was going to bring that up, but thank you. I like that idea of making it, because there are people that visit our community and might want to contribute, and giving it a more readily available option would be helpful. Councilmember Ball.
I think, I agree. I think all of those are really great ideas. Just one thought, if we're, again, reaffirming our commitment to being partners in this, perhaps we can put out a press release as well, talking about what we're doing, what we're committing to, and then reminding the community that there is an opportunity to notice on their utility bill if they'd like to help. Maybe there's a spot there to utilize that. Sometimes people just don't know about it, they don't see it, and that's just the way it goes.
In the last, it was either last month or the month before, there was the insert about your ability to add on to your utility bill and the form to fill out. So I do know it went out. I think it goes out at least once a year. But you're right. I think the additional promotion would help. I see the city manager squirming over there.
I was just going to say, another thing that we're trying to work on is we'll have a link on our webpage where they can do a virtual tour of all the murals, and there's a little story about them. So I think that's kind of neat to just bring up.
So if we were to provide direction about potentially setting money aside from the general fund for this, would that need to come back as a separate report based on the current budget?
Yes, that would need to come back.
Okay. So,
I had just one more quick question, if I could. So I agree with Councilwoman Cordova about, maybe getting some sort of number there. But I was curious, maybe if there's anyone that could speak to what is the need, what's the ongoing annual need? We have no data or understanding of, does it cost more, does it cost less? Is that enough?
I think that would be the follow-up report. Is to bring that back as part of a proposal of what we might be able to set aside based on what the no need is, and the fact that we likely couldn't make up for that, but educating the community on how we as a whole could help make up for that.
I think if it does come back, I'd love to hear from that side on what the costs are and how that works.
We do have, I understand, some members of the Mural Society in the audience tonight who might be able to speak to that too.
Okay. I was going to have them come up first before we did public comment. Councilmember Cordova.
Well, if there's someone here, I'd love to hear from them. I was going to make some comments just from my experience of working with them through other organizations, but I think spoken from them would be better.
Okay. Any more questions for staff? Councilmember Vega.
Jeff, for people that are interested in the mural, adding a mural to their building, or would they be, they'd have to join the Lompoc Mural Society? Is that what the process would be for anybody else that's interested? Because it seems like this would be an economic driver, and it would probably get a few more people excited and want something like that. I know we're adopting it.
A building owner wouldn't necessarily have to join the society, but they should contact the society to express their interest, and then they can probably work through the society to get a mural on their building.
So the process would be, if someone wanted their building, they wouldn't have to go through this process again, would they, to get this thing approved? Or would that be something that the Mural Society could contact the city and say, hey, guess what, we're adding this building? Or
the Mural Society would contact the city, and then we would get it worked out. If the site is already on the approved list of sites, we wouldn't have to come to council. But if the site is new, it's not on the approved list, we'd have to come to council to approve that site.
And why would that process have to come to council when the Mural Society is going to be in charge of everything there?
Well, that's the way that it was set up in the resolutions when the council approved the mural project. Is the council wanted to approve all the sites. So it's within this council's discretion, if you wanted to not have any requirement that the council approve sites.
I just think that as long as the Mural Society is active, maybe some sort of communication with the city, would be, something that we could do, but again, that's the council's decision here. I'm just all proactive for the murals, and I think anybody that wanted to sponsor a mural and somebody had control of it, and the communication between the city, it seemed like it would be...
Thinking about it more, I think there might be a little bit of an issue with these site agreements, and the artist agreements require the city to take on the liability risk when the mural goes up and the maintenance costs, and so I think we would want to have some city council review of the site before we enter into the agreement.
All right, if there are no further questions for staff, I'll invite representatives from the Mural Society forward first in case you're here and would like to answer any questions before we open it to general public comment.
Thank you for having us or allowing us to speak. It's an honor to be a part of this organization, and I can't tell you how many people come to this city as I'm restoring murals all over the world, and I'm just blown away, and they are so excited about the outdoor art gallery. They're taking photographs and they're asking questions, and it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. So my name is Ann Thompson. I'm sorry. And
there are some of us who know you, and then there are rest of the community that needs to know who you are, and thank you for all the restoration work you are doing on so many of these unique pieces of art, as well as those that you have created. And so thank you for both the creations you've done as well as the maintenance you do on many of the other pieces of art. It is very unique, and you're right, we do have quite a few visitors. Do you have any, as the question was put forward, some insight into the difference between a new mural costs and maintenance?
New mural is quite a bit more expensive. We wouldn't be looking at anything less than probably at prices now $30,000 for a new mural. Restoration, we're looking at, that can be almost as much as a new mural, but sometimes we can get it for less, like $20,000 or something like that. But it's the cost of the paints, the materials, everything, it adds up.
And then you need sometimes a scissor lift or stands to get on,
yes,
because they're so large and they're tall. It's not something you can necessarily just stand on the ground and do. So there's unique equipment that you need, and that has a cost that factors into it as well. And paying for that storage, because I know that there are many murals in storage that we've lost sites, and your organization has been great enough to store them as well. So any other questions for the Councilmember Cordova?
Yeah, and Anne, could you also maybe educate us a little bit about the difference between, I believe if it's a commissioned mural, then the original artist has to be given the opportunity to come back and restore it.
Correct.
Nobody else can touch it, correct?
They are not, we may not touch it, but they give us the amount that they need to restore it. But if it's not possible for us to have that much, to pay that much money, then as the Mural Society, we can deny that. And then we'll try to figure out how we'll make it happen. But if we don't have the money, we don't have the money to do it for that price.
Councilmember Ball.
I just, if I could, take one quick second, just since I'm a huge fan of this lady here, and she's kind of a rock star in this town, if you don't know about her. So what's one of the biggest, latest murals that you were a part of, that you worked on?
I got to do the NASA mural, the Landsat.
Yeah, so for all of you that, you go past H, you turn right on I Street, is that J Street, I Street?
I Street.
I Street, and big mural on the left. This young lady was out there all the time painting. I got to walk past her and yell and shout and all those things. And I don't know how many times I've seen somebody just stopped next to you, talking to you, probably asking questions. And
Every day.
you've been such a great ambassador, not just an artist, but an ambassador for this town. I just wanted to say thank you. Yeah.
Thank you.
Any more comments from the Mural Society representatives before we open for public comment? Okay. All righty.
I'm Linda Steger. I'm the treasurer for the Mural Society. And like Ann said, when we have to restore a mural, we have to go to the artist first, the original artist, and get a bid from them. And like she said, we don't have to accept it. And we have that situation right now with, what's the mural?
Flower industry.
The flower industry mural on Ocean and H, right?
Correct.
Yeah, it was one of the first ones painted, and that artist gave us his bid to come back and restore it, and it's just a lot of money. It was over $20,000. It was more than it cost to paint it originally, so.
Okay. Thank you for all that feedback. We really appreciate it and appreciate the work you do.
We appreciate your support.
A small but mighty group of volunteers and talented individuals, so thank you.
This is the talent. Thank you, and thank you for your support.
We will go ahead and open it up for public comment. If you would like to speak to this item, you may come to the podium for your 3 minutes, or you may call in at 805-875-8201, 805-875-8201.
Howdy, Carl Jones. I am for helping the society out. I actually participated twice on the murals. In the mural for the days, the ones there by Jasper's Saloon. So, I did the one end, and then they did the other section there. And as far as community, we had a lot of people show up, a lot of kids, a lot of teenagers, adults, and it really brought a lot of people together. And then you still, even like my grandkids come and say, hey, I helped paint that sucker. See all them letters up there? Those are me, And they're like, what? And I know there's more people who do that, And, I forget the guy's name. I got a picture of him at the house, me and him, just kind of like got along. But, but it was quite fun. Just sit up there, 5-6 hours painting, And like I said, it really brought a lot. I would like to see a lot more of the mural in a day come back, because that really, that got more participation, in my opinion, than the Make a Difference days, believe it or not. When we're, going out there picking up trash, I've seen more people show up to paint a building than pick up trash in these streets, but, I'm definitely for it, and I'm definitely for it. Let's get some more.
Thank you.
Yes.
So my wife's great-grandpa is in the mural on H and Ocean. He farmed bodgers, and it gives my wife a sense of pride every time we go by this specific mural. And these murals are a wonderful asset to this community. They invoke pride in our community and invoke a spirit of hometown. And that is something that this community needs more of, because this generation is forgetting where they came from. They're forgetting their roots. And if we keep, forgetting our roots, then what will happen to history? We will forget about where we came from and the people that built this community. So these murals are a wonderful asset to this community, and I definitely support more murals, more wonderful art throughout this community that just brings everybody together. Thank you.
Nancy Thompson, I just have a question. You are eliminating the QRT code or whatever it's called and just asking for money to fund the murals, is that correct? I don't understand what the question is.
I will provide clarity after we're finished with public comment.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. All right, seeing no one else rise and no one calling in, before I hand it to Councilmember Cordova, the current methodology to support is to provide donations. You can either do it directly to the Lompoc Mural and Public Art Organization, which we help manage the funding for, or you can add dollars to your utility bill. What is being proposed by the staff report between the Mural Society and the city is to add a QR code at each of the mural locations that would allow you to scan it and go to a potential donation page where you could contribute. So if you were a visitor, you had additional method to give $1, give $50, give $100, and it not be just the two methodologies that currently exist. So that is something we would bring back for discussion and set up later. Unfortunately, no, but I'll happily talk to you after the meeting. Okay. All right. Councilmember Cordova.
So, 23 years ago, I started working as a volunteer with the Chamber of Commerce. That was a long time ago, and in my early 20s, and that led into me also volunteering and seeing the work firsthand from the Mural Society. I remember the Brushes and Blues days when the buses would come in, and we would organize and prepare for the arrival of these artists that would come in. And so I can honestly tell you this is a passion of mine. Over the years, I've had the privilege of working with other organizations that have continued to help fund the Mural Society, and it's very important for me. I'm lucky enough to have worked with Gene Stevens, so I love that this is such a rich part of our history. And it's one of the many true beauties in our community. And of course, it's a tourist driver for this city. So I would love to put a motion forward that we accept the resolution, but that we also bring back the opportunity for the council to consider putting at least a $25,000 pledge, so to speak, to the organization. They work hard, and I challenge anyone in the community that is interested in volunteering to join now. Join this hardworking team that has been here for decades and learn from them so that these volunteers can be the future of this organization moving forward. Otherwise, at some point in time, I fear that we will lose it, but I thank the committee that serves now and the volunteers that serve now because you do an amazing job and it's something to be proud of. So that is my motion.
Councilmember Ball.
I second that.
All right, do you need any clarity? All right, do you need any clarity?
The donation is a one-time or is it annual?
How about we leave it to staff to let us know what we can afford? Whether it's $25K per budget cycle or $25K per year.
And
So-
that can be discussed in the item that comes back.
Okay, all right.
So I don't mind hearing them tell us what they can afford, but I'd also like for them to hear what we think we should spend.
That will be part of the discussion, but there is reality check in all of this as well. So we have a motion, a second, we've gotten clarity, and we will have another discussion, but currently we're supporting adopting the 18 sites that had not previously been approved and reaffirming that the city supports the Lompoc mural project. Any other questions? Seeing none, let's vote. And that passes 4-0 and 1 abstention. All right, Madam Clerk, did we have any written communications?
No, ma'am, nothing.
Thank you. Here is your chance for final oral communications on city matters. If you would like to come forward, you will have 2 minutes. or you may call 805-875-8201, 805-875-8201.
Carl Jones, back again. I'm a member of the Lompoc Valley Botanical and Horticulture Society. We do a lot of maintenance on the botanical garden up there by the park, and then also the drought tolerant. Drought tolerant garden is in need of repair. The sign is about ready to fall over, thanks to gophers, termites, whatever. You go up and wiggle it, and that thing's about ready to come down. So any way we can get the Parks Rec guys over to take a look at that thing, put some new concrete in, what have you, plus, all the old timbers there, just they're old and they need replaced too. I think that garden, the city might want to look at in the future, trying to find some money to put in its direction. We do get the volunteers that can help lay the mulch the city provides for free, but the stuff I'm talking about would cost, comes at a cost. The board is made out of old telephone poles that are laid in the ground. The sign is put up with telephone poles. The paint's peeling off. Like I said, it's ready to just fall over. You go over, wiggle the thing. It's any day, good strong wind, it's going to be on its face. And that's one of the things I'm requesting the city to look into. And I'm also, don't know who to talk to, but is there any way we can get Caltrans to put a sign up for our botanical garden at the college? I go around to other cities, they got a great big giant gray sign that says, my botanical garden's right over here. Caltrans does it. We need one for Lompoc. That thing's been around for over 50 years. And not that many people know about it. But it's a nice garden. It changes throughout the years. Throughout the year, different types of flowers and stuff. Go up and visit. It's nice. Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you for the work you're doing there.
Nick Nikolenko, resident of Lompoc. So, we have quite a few vacant buildings in town. Some have been vacant as long as I have been here, and that's been over 10 years. Mervin's and Texas Cattle Company are vacant. Why? What is going to attract businesses to our community when our crime is through the roof? I was just looking up statistics for crime in our community. The auto theft statistics is through the roof. The violent crime is higher than the national average. So how can we as a community expect businesses and franchises and companies to want to come to this community when we've got violent crime on the rise and auto theft at appalling numbers? I couldn't believe the numbers for auto theft in this community. And nobody wants to move here. Nobody wants to bring their businesses here. Why? It is time we got a handle on our crime in our community. Hey, and these kids going around doing graffiti, why not reach out to them and get them involved with a mural society so that they can actually feel like their talent can be put to good use and they have a feeling of self-worth in this community. Thank you.
All right, seeing no one else rise and no one call in, we'll bring it back to council for comments and reports. Councilmember Vega.
Nothing to report.
Councilmember Ball.
Just a couple quick things here. First of all, just wanted to, another shout out to the library. I always shout out to them, but thanks to my wife who got her library card recently and is overjoyed. And I have to tell you one extra story about the library, why it's super important. She's a big Audible fan. She's been paying, you go listen to books on tape, do the whole deal. She comes home the other day, super excited. She's canceling her Audible membership, saving us a few bucks a month, because the library has a bunch of Audible books on, you can listen online and lots of other resources, and she's just thrilled. So I'm passing that along. So thank you for all the good, hard work that you guys are doing over there for that. So if you want to listen to a book on, while you're going around, you can actually use the library for that. That's pretty cool. I got to attend the Explore Lompoc put on the welcome reception for Colonel Shoemaker. That was really great to see him and to hear kind of what's happening out at the base. And I really enjoyed that video that Explore Lompoc put together. It reminded me of how excited I am to live in Lompoc. This is a really great place. I have some sort of council request. Probably won't get support up here for it, but I've gotten a couple people in the community that are small business owners that have reached out. And again, I take it all with a grain of salt. Everyone has a position, but they've been concerned because they get letters saying they're out of compliance with code enforcement. Now, you know me, I'm a huge guy on code enforcement. We got to clean up this place. But they were a little concerned because they said, hey, I'm a small business and this is I'm going to struggle and I don't want to go to jail in 2 weeks. And I said, okay, well, slow down. So for me as a council person, I would love to just maybe get involved or get an update on what is our process with code enforcement, and maybe you could educate me a little bit so I can help some of those constituents understand, hey, here's the process. If you have an issue, maybe you can come to the council or appeal, or I'm not sure how it works. But my whole point is we need a lot of these businesses to function so we can get their sales tax and they help us. And I'd just like to understand the process more so I can help them understand how to come into compliance properly. So I don't know if that's a council request that needs approval, but that's something that I'd like to learn more about. That's all I got.
If you wanted a presentation to the council at a council meeting, then that would be a council request. So you need to get 2 other votes support for that. But if you just wanted an offline conversation with staff, then...
Well, it's offline if I don't get support, so either way, I'm getting it offline. But if the council would like to join me in getting a presentation that might be helpful to the community to understand how our process works and how the appeal process works, and I don't know, I think it could be helpful.
So for clarity, you're asking for our Community Development Division to bring back and give a presentation on if you receive a code violation, what are the processes to remedy it, and if you're having difficulty or potentially disagree, what the process to appeal is.
Sure. I think just clarifying. I don't think any business owner should stress, and maybe improperly stress, that they might go to jail because they can't bring something into compliance in a few weeks. I think that's a little bit of a stretch. But I think we need to keep code enforcement. We need to keep on the track of cleaning up this town, but I want to make sure that we're listening to our community as they have.
I think that council is a good place to educate both the community and council so that there isn't a misperception out there. So I'd be willing to support an informational presentation on the code enforcement process, what happens when you receive a violation, what the process to remedy is, and if you disagree with it, what the appeal process would look like. So I'd be willing to give you a second on that if that helps staff with
Sure, I appreciate it.
keeping it from being this big, wide presentation.
For clarity,
Yeah.
I know we brought it once already, so you're just looking for how to handle a code enforcement violation that's given to you?
So I've had some people reach out that have businesses in town, and they are out of compliance, and they were notified, and they got a follow-up letter that said if they don't make changes, they're going to go to jail. Obviously, that's a legal letter, and it's something, but they're not sure of the ramifications. I think it's fair for the community to understand, hey, are you going to go to jail in 2 weeks if you don't fix your sign, or is there a process to go to council, appeal something, and be heard?
We can bring an informational presentation about the code enforcement process. We wouldn't, of course, discuss any specific individual matters, but the process in general, we can do.
That's all I'm looking for, yeah.
Councilmember Cordova.
I'm all for educating too, but I do know we've had more than one presentation in the recent, like literally in the recent months about code enforcement. The first one, when the gentleman got up here, he specifically went through the whole process, and I'm pretty sure he covered it. When people reach out to me, I do have that link ready for them to go, and I have them watch the council meeting that day so that they can see the presentation. And then I tell them, if you have any further questions, reach out to the code enforcement officer for more clarification, or reach back out to me if there's anything I can do for you as your district representative. But if it helps, again, I will give you the third, but we have had that.
Yeah.
And I know and again, no argument here. We've definitely had many presentations, and it's been very informational. The thing that I'm missing is if somebody receives something, I don't know with clarity how the appeal process works and where the buck stops. And I think it's fair for me to understand that. And if I miss that in the presentation, that's my fault.
Again, I think we could narrow it down to the follow-up presentation, like bring that presentation forward and have it available and rise that link back up. But the presentation that's made before council would literally be, once you receive a violation notice, what's the next process? I think keeping it really narrow to continue the education is worth doing. So you have your third on that.
Thank you.
All right. Councilmember Cordova.
No reports.
Thank you. I want to thank the fire department for organizing the 9/11 memorial, as well as PD. It was a great turnout, and to those in our community who got up early, thank you for coming out and helping us with that. I also attended the Project Opioid monthly meeting. Sadly, the overdose has ticked up. It is interestingly ticking up in the seniors age range. So if you know of individuals that are struggling because they either became addicted during the overdose of opioids and have now lost their prescriptions and having difficulties, please get them in contact with the mental health and wellness organizations within Santa Barbara County. There are lots of programs to assist. I attended the Santa Barbara County Association of Governments North County Subregional in planning for the regular meeting later this month, which has been moved from this week to the 28th, for those of you that attend those or listen in. I attended the Planning Commission meeting. It is my current rotation. They discussed the housing element, and we'll continue to discuss it, so there will be another Planning Commission meeting discussing that before it comes to council. Had my monthly meeting with the city manager with our current 3rd District Board of Supervisor. I also attended the welcome reception for Vandenberg Space Force Base new Colonel Shoemaker, and want to thank Explore Lompoc for organizing that. REACH and Vandenberg Space Force Base in combination had a workshop that I also attended along with our city manager regarding next steps, what is needed not only for the base but for commercial launch. And it is expanding quite quickly. SpaceX was kind enough to give us a tour. They are expanding at a level here that is above and beyond what we expected or what the state expected. One of their biggest issues is, once again, housing. So we are looking for those that are interested in building. The housing that is approved and moving forward will not be enough to accommodate what the base is needing, both as military and as commercial launch presents itself. All right, some announcements. We will have a animal services survey go out live tomorrow on SurveyMonkey. There will be a link on the city website. So please provide insight as to the services that you're currently receiving through animal service contract and those that are missing. It will help us provide insight as we once again discuss it with the county. You heard earlier that our Dunkin' for Pumpkins event is coming back for Halloween, so Sunday, October 22nd from 10 to 11, and there'll be more information about how to register and prepay to participate at the Parks and Recs locations or on our website. We are still receiving input on our local road safety plan. This is very helpful if you will go in and participate in the survey, again, on our city website, to tell us concerns and issues around the city to reduce fatalities and injury. So it's important because maybe we don't drive the street you drive on a regular basis and you're noticing more issues. So it's really important to provide feedback on that. We're accepting that through October 11th. The Aquatic Center is once again offering swim instructor training. The deadline to register for that is October 4th. If you're interested, please sign up at the pool or online. And last but not least, the Children's Christmas Season Parade theme has been announced. It's rocking around the Christmas tree. The parade this year will be on December 1st, pending there's no rain, starting at 6 p.m. And you have until Friday, November 17th to submit your applications for participating in it. And my council request is support from council to have a float this year instead of individual rides. The float for the Flower Festival was a lot of fun. It was easier to accomplish than trying to find 5 different vehicles. And it was really enjoyable to come up with an exciting theme to decorate. So I would look for council support to have a float instead of individual. I see my lights of support. What is my city manager?
Who's driving?
I'm going to let you go ahead and tell that you'll support this or not, but you have my support.
All righty, which usually means he volunteers to drive and he has a flatbed. So anyway, in case he hadn't volunteered that, he did last time, and he got us the hay bales, and staff really helped with decorations. So I think this is a great theme. And you can tell the city manager what your ideas are, and he can, and staff can help us come up with rocking around the Christmas tree theme for the and it just becomes easier than trying to identify vehicles and that sort of thing. So, Councilmember Ball?
I was just going to spend a few minutes begging Victor Vega to join us.
All right.
See, maybe.
I agree. I would like Victor Vega to join us, and you got my support.
All right. So we put in a request for a float, and we all agree to it publicly, except for poor Dirk, who's just going to have to show up because he didn't stick around to voice his disagreement.
Encourage Dirk, and I approve it.
All right, awesome. See how easy that was? I want to thank you all for attending tonight, and our next meeting is October 3rd, so we will adjourn this meeting until 6:30 p.m. on October 3rd.